Okay, round two, here we go. So, just before I talk about these designs, I just wanted to put it out there that I've spent hours and hours getting these these images and cutting them out and pairing the right words together to make sure that they actually make sense, writing on the board. It's taken me hours and hours. I just wanted to say that because I am very proud of these. Even if I don't use them all, I'm very proud of them. Anyway, talking about this pink design. Pink is definitely one of my favourite colours out of all of these designs, especially how neutral these ones all look. They're not overpowering and in your face, which I do quite like. I also like the way which Love the Inside Story, it instantly grabs your attention, although when I really create this, I will probably have that a lot larger and these a little bit smaller. So, although it's a little bit off skew and doesn't really line up, I just want it to be this bit. Okay, and these here are going to be my background, just so then it's a little bit more of a variation. And I was also playing around with adding in a feathery touch, because I thought that that was quite cute. My main article, body itself, I wanted to have in a very straight diagonal line, so there wasn't very much bit over here, bit over here, bit over here. It's all in one line, although there may not be much room for it, which I suppose is appealing to some targets because they get off put and there's too much writing, which I found out from my survey. Yeah, so I found that this one was really helpful and I'm very happy with this one, and it's given me a lot of ideas for which sort of image captions I can use, and yeah, I feel quite good about that page and confident with where that one's going. Moving on to my black page design, I purely just called it this so then it would be a little bit different to this one, but it's literally just black and white photos. So this one really links to my film idea magazine thing. Awful wording there, but you know what I mean. So here you can see that I put I love awards, but I thought that it needed a bit of a French touch because it's always nice to show off that multilingual touch. I like the way which these images, they're a composition of quite relaxed, casual ones, for example, these two, and then very over the top, which are definitely these two, which could be taken out of a movie. More this one than that one, as you can see, it's like a white screen behind, but never mind. I can definitely see a pull quote going on at least these three, if not all four. There's a nice colour scheme thrown throughout, and the font, actually, I really like this one here. I think that that's a beautiful font and would look really nice. For the background, that's stunning me a little bit because I'm not sure whether I should have it black, have like an inverted colour of some sort of ripple, or maybe an orchid flower in black and white, or I know that I want it to stay black and white, that's all I know. I don't think that I'm going to add any colour onto this page, even in the masthead, just purely because I want to keep him really with this theme. In my magazine, I can see that this page goes after my contents page, just because it's talking straight about the awards, which I would like. And it also allows me then to go on to a little bit more of a fancy, faffy dress theme. Okay, so moving on. Here I have the black plus skin. This was only because I want to have another black design here and here. So this was a mix of a few, if I'm honest. What I really like about this is the images. Although it may look a little bit like the leftover images, I genuinely thought quite a lot about this. And I wanted this one to be quite a simplistic page. And I know that if by having this woman grabbing her neck is a really enticing and supportive way to look at a page. I also like the wording which I've created to go along with this page, as it really does suit the theme, and I'm very happy with that. I know that this image here can link to my film ideas and all of that, and then this personalised designer, that can really entice my audience to get more involved with my magazine, which is what I overall want. For my article bodies, I only have one, which is a very long block of text, which I may end up changing if I'm honest, because that is quite a lot, but we'll play around with that. I know that I can definitely add image captions just because there's so much going on in quite a simplistic page, which is quite a skill to create in my opinion. I'm very excited about this one if I'm honest. Very excited. Moving on to this page, this is the only one where I have a double page spread which both include 2 images of one person per page, if that makes sense. I just thought that these 4 images looked really nice, and that I couldn't just include, say, ignoring this one and ignoring this one. I couldn't just include those top 2 here. It has to be all 4, because these 2 as a pair go really well together, and then these 2 as a pair go really well together. So I just really wanted to advertise that. Why I've positioned them in this way is mainly because of these 2. So you can see here, her eyes are going this way and her eyes are going that way, which makes me want to add a bit of text right in the middle there, or maybe even the title in there. That's because wherever the direct address is facing for them, makes the audience go straight towards them. This is a really clever way to make the audience look where you want them to look. I think that there's definitely style going on this page, and I think it could be really nice, and perhaps could be a bit fancy, but could also be formal dressing, which is always good to have that option. Moving on to this one, the red design. What I love here is how I have a long shot, a medium, and a close-up. I wanted to show that this going closer and closer. So you can see here that she's quite a formal dress, a bit over the top, but we'll come back to that. And then you go down straight away to something which is really relaxed, comfy, which probably the reader is actually in at the time if they're at home. And then down to this one, which again is a mix of the 2, if I'm honest. It could be quite a formal or informal dressing. I love this page, just from my play on words up here to the strong mind. I think it's a really nice positive page, because you can see that all the faces are quite happy, or they look confident with themselves, and it's just a really nice page, and I'm getting a nice vibe off of it. I also have a little quote up here which I do genuinely really like, and I will be including that. Talking about my article bodies, you can clearly see that there are 3 paragraphs here. This is then I can use my rule of thirds trick. I think that that's really important when you're doing a magazine, so then you can control where you're making the audience look. Moving on quickly. So I have, first of all, this green page. I do love this one, and I can link it. So before, when I was talking about, these leaf ideas for the background, that could also work on this one, although I did come up with this design. If you look at it closer on its own, but I think it's quite faffy, if I'm honest, and I think it could be very difficult to recreate. That's why I'm thinking, let's find a leaf, or let's find a composition of something, just so then it can make it a little bit easier on myself. This was a really fun page, and I do genuinely like it a lot. From the clever quotes to the looks. Again, my main issue with the images is the lighting and shadows. There isn't enough to make it interesting and captivating the audience. That's the main thing which I would change, but I'm very happy with this overall thing. And finally, I have another white page. Unlike the whole swimsuit idea, I have a proper white page. Now, this one to me has quite a vintage look, and I do love this idea, and I might have a vintage twist on all of my pages. I'm gonna definitely play around with this idea just to see how it goes, but it's definitely a strong idea which I have. I love this yellow tinge to the photos. It just gives them a bit of a glow on a warm skin instead of washing people out, which is never a good look. Although the light has caught it really bad on here, this was meant to be it was a white background with different textures and patterns on it basically, and I was playing around with that for the background, although you can't see anything on it. I've also got some tracing paper just to see if I prefer that for a background. It was a really collagey page, but I'm still happy with how it's turned out. I love the way in which this model here is turning over her shoulder, and I think that would be a really nice way to show off this article here as she's looking over here. All about the eye contact. That's what I love to portray across all of my pages and make the audience look where I want them to. For the masthead here, I think I've got to find a way for it to stand out more. I'm not sure how yet, but I need to stand it out more. Just because it's not that it doesn't stand out, but it needs to stand out more in my opinion. But we'll find a way to do that. For the article bodies, I have one here and one here. That may change, just because I'm not sure about this one here. If I do that, then it would make it seem a little bit more logical, but then not at the same time. We'll just have to see. Again, for the page numbers, they're going to be just with the standard codes and conventions in the corner. Nothing really changing there. I love this page a lot, and I'm definitely going to be referring back to it.